of AWS certified training, right? Professional
Yes.
side. Okay. So let me share my screen and I will show you what would be the agenda for today's. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hope you are able to see my screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll start the introduction of AWS today, as well as what is cloud computing is all about. Okay. This is
Okay.
the agenda for today. We'll see what are different cloud computing models and what is virtualization. We'll go in depth about the AWS overview. How is the global infrastructure of AWS look like pertaining to the compute, storage, and different services.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
let us get started. So I want to make this session as an interactive two-way. Okay, so meanwhile I can ask you some questions as well, right?
Okay.
Okay, so let us get started. First of all, let me share my presentation slide. Okay, so we'll understand what is basically cloud computing is today. So any thoughts about like what is cloud computing is all about?
Okay. Is that a question?
Yeah,
Okay. Cloud computing is when you do things you normally do on your regular computer on the cloud, like processing, storage, um, mm, again, things you normally do on your computer. So instead of doing it on the hard drive of your computer, you're doing those things on the cloud. So I think that's cloud computing. You can scale
yeah,
up,
right.
scale down, save data, process data on the cloud. Yes.
Yeah, what do you mean by cloud? But
What do we mean by what cloud was?
yeah, I will tell you. See, the thing is that cloud, in the sense, the resources, right, from compute, storage, networking, those resources are over the internet connection, right?
Yeah.
In our traditional networking, what happens? You know, the traditional data centers,
Okay.
traditional data centers, wherein those resources are there in your data center, physical data center, right?
Hmm.
In the case of cloud computing, your resources are on the internet, right? Those
Okay.
resources, and we are able to access those resources. We can provision those resources and access resources from anywhere in the world, right?
Okay.
Globally we can access, like say if you are provisioning any compute instances or any storage devices, those can be accessible over the internet connection anywhere from the cloud. That's why it is something called as a cloud computing, right?
Good.
Yeah. And so behind the scene, cloud computing is just but why we use cloud computing?
So why do we use cloud computing?
Yes,
So that if something happens to is to protect your information.
right. So
Yes.
that means the cloud vendor, any cloud vendor like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, right? Those vendors are responsible for the infrastructure support behind the scene. Anything happens, they are responsible. So we need to only focus on core business, right? And we can
Yes.
provisioning those resources at any time, right? Like say you are logging to the AWS cloud and you can provision any resource instantaneously, right? Like we can
Mhm.
faster provision those resources. It is cost effective. What does mean by cost effective?
We say it is what?
Cost
Cost
effective.
effective.
Yeah.
That means instead of the business buying some of those resources, the cloud provider is taking care of those hardware, software infrastructure. So the cost is borne by the cloud provider and not the company.
Cost effective in the sense it uses a pay as you go model, right? Like let us say
Okay.
you have provision in EC2 instance, compute instance, or any other resource. As long as it is running, on your cloud, you have to pay that much amount only, right? And once you stop,
Okay.
like we can stop that instance. Once you stop, that billing will stop, right? That's why it is like a pay, it is a pay as you go model. That's why it is a cost effective. And another thing is dynamic scaling. Dynamic scaling in the sense we can scale those instances. Let us say you have 4 instances, compute instances, and tomorrow you want to scale up to like 8 instances or 10 instances, right? It can be scaled automatically, no need a manual intervention. It will automatically scale. That is what a dynamic scaling is, right? So
Okay.
that's why this cloud computing is required. Hope
Okay.
you are clear on this. Why computing
Yes, I'm
cloud
clear on
computing?
this.
Yeah. So these are the 4 important features provided by cloud computing. Okay. So in cloud computing, we have different layers, like different types of cloud computing. You might heard about SaaS, PaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. So what do you understand by infrastructure as a service?
Infrastructure as a service.
Yep.
Uh, it is when from your slide I can see virtual machines. I will use that as an example. It is when you are using the cloud infrastructure. It's when the cloud company is providing infrastructure as a service. They're
Yes.
providing you their infrastructure to use. Yes, so that's a service they are rendering to you at that time.
Yeah, any kind of infrastructure like storage devices, networking devices, compute devices like EC2 instances, those are called as virtual machines. Okay.
Okay.
So these virtual machines are provided by your cloud vendor like AWS or any different vendor. That is something. The backend
Okay.
infrastructure. So we no need to worry about the backend infrastructure, what it is. Everything will be taken
Okay.
care by your cloud vendor. That is what your infrastructure services. And what is platform as a service? So to give you an example for infrastructure as a service, as I given, right, EC2 instances, which we are provisioning or any databases, right?
Okay.
Those kind of infrastructure as a service. And what about platform as a service?
I don't know what that is. What's platform as a service?
Okay, in the case of platform as a service, so first of all, I will tell you, in the case of infrastructure as a service, cloud vendor only provides your EC2 instances, compute instances. But what
Okay.
about the security, patching of those instances? Okay, those kind of features are not provided inside the infrastructure as a service, but in the case of platform as a service, along with your infrastructure, it also provides those kind of updates, patching of that particular service. Let us say in AWS, we have RDS instances, right? Relational database instances, wherein your cloud provider will provide infrastructure along with those patching of those instances as well as softwares.
Okay.
Okay, in the case of platform as a service, let us, I will show you. See, this is the slide wherein you can see platform as a
Okay.
service, right? This one platform as a service. This is
Okay.
managed by vendor. Vendor in the sense your cloud provider, like operating system, virtualization, server, storage, networking, runtime, everything. But from our side as a client, we have to install the applications and data. These two things we need to take care of.
Okay.
Rest of all these things will be taken care by your vendor. That is something, platform as a service.
Okay.
Okay. And in the case of infrastructure as a service, as we discuss, these things are taken care by the vendor, like virtualization, server storage, networking, whereas applications, data, runtime, middleware, and operating system, those kind of, we need to take care of all those. Okay. In the case of software as a service, that is the third model of your computing. What is software as a service?
Software as a service is when the cloud company provides softwares.
That is something, ready-made solution provided by the cloud vendor, right? Let us say
Yes.
Gmail. Gmail is a kind of, software as a service, right? We no need to install anything, need to provision. We just have to directly go and use it. That's it. That's what, your software as a service. These are the, different computing models. What is on-premises? So we discussed earlier, like traditional data centers.
Yes.
Everything we need to manage, like from the application to networking, storage, and all those things. But if you see
Okay.
in the cloud computing model, wherein we have infrastructure platform and software as a service, some parts are managed by client and some parts by the vendor. Client in the sense user. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the different types of computing models. And we have different deployment models as well, like public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and compute community cloud as well. Public cloud in the sense your AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, those are the public cloud, right? Everything on
Okay.
your public cloud, right? We need to log into that cloud and we need to provision that resources. That is something public cloud. And what is private cloud? This public cloud is owned by the vendor, right? Like
Okay.
AWS is a vendor. Where in the private cloud, this will be owned by ourselves. I
Okay.
can have, like, we can have our own cloud solution. That is something, private cloud owned by us. And hybrid cloud in the sense, let us say some resources are there in a public cloud and some resources are there in a private cloud. That is something, hybrid. It is a combination of public and private cloud. That is something, hybrid cloud solution. And community cloud, like say, if there is a business and different vendors are there and they want to create a cloud for themselves, so the business can come together and then create a cloud. That is something, community based cloud solution.
Okay. So community-based cloud is maybe two, three private cloud companies coming together to make a community
Absolutely
cloud. Okay.
correct, right? For a single business, and they will create
Okay.
a cloud solution. So
Okay.
these are the different deployment models in the cloud computing. Okay, because we have seen, right, what is public cloud, private cloud. Okay, but there are some pros and cons as well, like using public cloud, like pros in the sense like it is cost effective in US. That means pay as you go model. It is reliable, flexible in the sense we can get high availability, scalability, flexibility. Okay. And
Okay.
some cons are also there, some kind of low security. Most of the financial companies don't prefer to use public cloud solutions because of some security constraints or some kind of less customization. And private cloud is completely owned by us, right? The own companies. Okay. Yeah, and hybrid cloud, it's combination of private and public cloud. And this is community cloud. That's what we discussed, right? Like business
Yes.
communities will come together and then form a community cloud.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the popular cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, GCP, and they are using a different services. Like from the terminology perspective, like storage in AWS as a object storage, it is called as S3. You might have
Okay.
heard about S3 buckets, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So in AWS, it is called as that storage, that is object storage is something called as S3. Then this Azure have different terminology like blob storage, GCP storage, then servers. Basically, those are the
What
virtual
is GCB?
Google Cloud Platform.
Okay, Google Cloud Platform. Okay.
Yeah. So in the case of AWS, servers are called as EC2 machines, then Azure virtual machines, likewise. Different naming conventions for the same services like servers, containers, deployment. databases, and serverless compute. But we are going to focus on only AWS. This is just for your information. Okay.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. We are focusing on AWS. That's fine. But do the services compare to each other? Like S3 storage for AWS, is it similar to how the blob storage does for Azure or GCP, or the storage for GCP? Do they work the same way? Do they work by the same principle?
Exactly. Yes. Like say, this is a kind of object storage, right? This naming convention is different, but they work the similar way. Like for example, EC2 is the virtual machine. It is called as virtual machine, but after all, it is a compute instance, right? This is
Okay.
compute instance. They works in the similar way only. Only the naming convention is different because they are from the different cloud vendors.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll proceed further. Introduction to AWS. Any questions from the cloud computing perspective, like different computing models, deployment models, what it does,
Okay. Yes.
why we use? Yeah.
Um, well, no questions now, because I'm sure by the time we go deeper, we'll talk of Lambda, RDS. We'll talk more as we go further. So,
Yes. Yes.
okay, so that's fine. Let's we can move on.
Yeah. Fine. So, introduction to AWS. Like this is kind of AWS overview. As of now, this slide is not updated, but we have around more than 200 plus AWS services from the compute, storage, database, security perspective. Okay, I'll show you how the global infrastructure of your AWS look like. Okay, and what is the benefit of AWS? Benefit of it is a AWS cloud solution is a dominant in a market share, and these are the benefits, right? Like uh, we can like easy to use, we can easy to using the resources easily. This is reliable, secure, flexible, and cost effective, like we discussed, right? What is cost effectiveness? Okay, reliable, secure in the sense there are different services in AWS, those are responsible for the security of the AWS cloud, and we are
Okay.
getting the scalability, flexibility, and reliability, fault tolerance, right? In case any service or there is an interruption of the service, it will automatically like bridging the another service by using this reliability and flexibility. Okay, so classic data center as we discussed, right? Classic data center in the sense those data centers, on-premises data centers, wherein we have those kind of elements as well, which are there on cloud, like compute, storage, network, application database management system, like TBMS. Okay, these are the elements of your traditional data center. Okay,
Okay.
that is different from your cloud.
Okay.
So this is virtualization. What is virtualization? Do you know what is virtualization?
No.
How cloud solution evolved, Let me share my screen. 1 second. How cloud solution evolved? Like initially, there was something called as data centers, traditional data centers, right? First of all,
Okay.
wherein your physical machines are there, like in the sense physical
Okay.
physical servers. Okay, and later on, it is evolved as a virtualization, like virtual machines.
Okay.
Virtual machines in the sense, let us say we have this physical box. There is any software like hypervisor. There is a like in virtualization, there is a software basically called as hypervisor. By using
Okay.
this software, which we can create a multiple operating systems using the same virtualization layer. Like in the sense, using the same box, physical box, we will install this hypervisor software, and out of this hypervisor software, we can create multiple operating systems or multiple virtual machines. Like this will be one virtual machine.
Okay.
Then this one would be another virtual machine. Likewise, we'll have multiple virtual machines, and this works because of this hypervisor layer.
Okay.
Okay. So that is something called as virtualization. So previously it was like only physical server wherein you have CPU, memory, and all those uh, traditional configuration items. But in the case of virtualization, we require a hypervisor on the top of your operating system. First, you will install any operating system. Let us say if you have Windows operating system, you can have those kind of operating system like Windows 11 or Windows 10 or something like wise Linux or any other operating system. On top of that, we will install this hypervisor software, and on top of that, we can create multiple virtual machines. And these virtual machines will use the resources like compute storage of that particular box. Like say this is your server, right? So these
Okay.
virtual machines will use those kind of compute or processor utilization. Yeah. So that is what virtualization is there.
Okay.
So what is the use of virtualization? Why we use virtualize? Why we virtualize the servers? The reason being, we use virtual machines because if you have single physical machines, all the let us say you have something like uh, 20 GB of hard drive, right?
Okay.
And you have something like 2 GB of memory in a single
Okay.
physical server. It will utilize all the resources.
Resources.
Resources in the
Okay.
sense those
Okay.
memory and hard drive, right? But in case of virtualization layer, this can we can limit those kind of memory to be used in the virtual layer, virtualization layer, right? So that there is no complete utilization of those resources which are there in your physical box in the case of virtualization layer.
Okay.
Okay. So there is some less consumption compared to your physical machine.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what virtualization. It abstract the physical resources such as compute storage network to function as a logical resources. In the sense, these virtual machines have some kind of memory hard drive, right? From
Mhm.
where it will take from your base operating system or base this physical machine. So first
Okay.
we'll require physical machine, then hypervisor layer on top of your operating system. From that we will create virtual machines. These virtual machines will use the resources from your original physical box or physical server. That means it is abstracting those resources from the physical uh, server, right? This is what, and these are called as logical resources. These are not the physical machines. These are the virtual machines. Got it? Yeah. So this is a like a data center virtualization. This is same as that of the virtualization layer. Like we can create a virtual devices using the physical resources. Okay. Now we'll come to the global infrastructure of AWS. how the global infrastructure of AWS look like. We have, let me share the AWS. If you go to this website, global infrastructure, okay, wherein you will get all the information about what are the different regions, availability zones, cloud fund POPs, point of presence basically. So what do you mean by region basically? There are around 36 launch regions across the globe AWS is using.
Okay.
Like for example, US East one is one of the region, right? AP Southeast one. There are around region, right?
Okay.
So there are around 36 regions, and in that 36 regions, availability zones are there. Availability zones in the sense there are these are the data centers. Like say, for example, this is your region. Let us say US East one. Okay, this region would have multiple data centers
Okay.
inside this region. Okay, these are called as availability zones. These are the availability zones, and this is region, right? US East one, and like say US East, this availability zone, US East 1A,
Okay.
then US East 1B, and US East 1C. Like in a single region, there are multiple availability zones, and that availability zones are also called as data centers.
Okay.
Okay. In case this availability zone goes down, still the users can access the applications from the another availability zones. That's why multiple availability zones are there inside a region. So this is what region and availability zone. You understood what is availability zone and region?
I understand, like availability zone. I understand that if one data center fails, it will move to another one. But on the
Right.
regions, can you please explain the regions?
Yeah. Regions. Region is nothing but a location or the area, right? Like we
Okay.
have around 36 regions across the globe.
Okay.
We can check those as well. Like I can show you. If you log into AWS, let me log into AWS. Okay. So if you go to right hand side here, hope you are able to see, right?
Yes.
North Virginia, then Ohio, Asia Pacific. These are the
Okay.
regions underneath United States, underneath Asia Pacific, Canada,
Okay.
Europe, and all. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the regions, and underneath each and
There's
every
no region in Africa.
South Africa, America, one sec. Yeah,
None in Africa.
no,
Okay. I'm
it
just
is
taking
not
note.
showing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not there. Fine. So these are the regions, and underneath each region, there are different data centers. Those are called as
Okay.
availability zones. So you see this is a word map, and we can see this location of different regions here. Okay. It is spread across 245 countries.
Okay.
Like we have local zones, 43 local zones,
Okay.
then direct connect locations as well. Direct
Okay.
connection locations is nothing but you, let us say from your data center, you want to connect AWS, right? So you need
Okay.
to make a connectivity, right, from your data center to
Yeah.
AWS, right? So AWS provides those kind of direct connect locations across each and every region.
Okay.
Yeah, this is how global infrastructure look like.
Okay.
Okay, so how to choose a right region? Let us say you are in
Okay.
US East one, right? And
Okay.
you have provisioned your servers in like something AP Southeast one, right? Correct.
Okay.
So how to choose a region? What would be your right region in that case?
The region closest to you, where you live.
Exactly right. So that is okay. That, from the latency perspective, what do you understand by latency?
Latency. Um, how I don't know. I've forgotten. I used to know,
Okay.
but I've forgotten.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Latency is nothing but the time to take the data and
Okay.
respond
So
back, right?
to retrieve the data.
Reach the data like request and response, right?
Okay.
So when you are requesting any resource or from any website, right? And
Okay.
how you are getting that reward like from that particular website, right? The time basically called as latency. Okay,
Okay.
to time to reach that website and get a response from that particular website. That is something called as latency. So from that latency perspective, you need to choose the region, right? Like that's why from the security compliance requirement perspective, service availability, and based on your location, like you choose your nearest location, right? Region, and from the latency perspective, you will choose the best region for you. Okay. And what is availability?
How readily available are those data when you need them? Those information when you need them.
Right. Let us say, for example, you have provisioned EC2 instance, which will be available like 24 by 7 or 365 days, 99% availability, right? That is something availability. Their ability of the system or the component to be operational. Like my EC2 instance is operational for 24 hours. Since last 24 hours, it is up and running, right? That is something availability. Okay.
Okay.
We discussed about the availability zones, right? Each every regions will have like couple of like in some regions there are two availability zones or two data center or some regions have three availability more than two availability zones or the data centers as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what availability zone is all about. Okay, we discussed about what is availability. Why availability is essential.
Okay.
Availability is essential, like some kind of, let us say, in a kind of, there is a disruption of your hardware, power outage issues, flood, those kind of issues, right? Your application should be available in case this kind of disaster happens. That's why this high
Okay.
availability is required. So that's why we discuss, right? AWS provides different availability zones in a single region. In case one availability zone goes down, same resource can be accessible using the another availabilities.
Okay.
Okay. Any kind of network, unplanned network outages. Okay. In that
Okay.
case, if any availability zone have those kind of network issues or outages, the resources should be accessible using another availability zone. That is something from the
Okay.
availability perspective. This high availability is required. Yeah. And
Okay.
how about data? How can we make the data available, highly available?
Yeah, how can we make data highly available?
Yeah, if in case if you want to make the data is a critical part, right, of application.
Okay. Okay.
In case if you want to make this data available, highly available, what we can do?
You're asking me the question?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay, you can save that data in first of all in a data center that is close to you, and
Different
also back it up.
availability zone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is something data backup to different availability zones. Okay, so we discussed about data locations, right? Data DC locations and local zones. So AWS has those kind of local zones as well, like nearest to the region. They can provide those kind of local zones in addition to your existing infrastructure.
Okay.
Direct connection locations we discussed, right? In case if you want to make a connectivity, private connectivity from your data center to AWS, those kind of direct connection locations also provided by AWS. Like kind of,
Okay.
hybrid connectivity from your data
Okay.
center to AWS cloud. So this kind of, hybrid connectivity can be possible, can implement using these direct connect locations. We
Okay.
discussed latency, right? It is a time required to transfer data from client. This is client and this is like server. So the
Okay.
time, this is request and again server will respond, right? This time between that is like request and response is something, latency. Okay. And AWS, we have different services from the compute, storage, application, management perspective, security, networking. Those are the services. Like from compute instances perspective, we have EC2 instances,
Okay.
elastic load balancers, or beans, elastic beanstalk, lambda instances. That is, serverless. Basically, lambda are, serverless compute instance. Basically, this doesn't require a compute instance to be provisioned behind the scenes. It automatically provisions those kind of instances. That is something, serverless instances. And from management tools perspective, those kind of, services provided by AWS, we can check all those services like from the console itself. Like for example, go to the AWS console, and herein you click on here. Like here you see left hand side analytics services, application integration, blockchain, compute services. Like those are the compute services. Then containers, databases, what are all different databases provided by AWS. Then what are different migration services, those kind of, services, storage services. Yeah. So these are all, AWS services you can navigate through. And this one is AWS EC2.
Okay.
This is EC2 service, Elastic Compute Service.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So EC2 is elastic compute.
Yes, Elastic Compute Service. That is something, virtual machine.
Okay.
Okay. And scope of AWS services. There are some global services and some regional services also there. Okay, and some availability zone based services. What is global service?
Service available everywhere,
Globally,
everywhere. Yes,
right?
globally.
It is not specific to a region, right? Like say there is one service which is available on only North Virginia or OE or California or something, Those services which are specific to the region are regional services, but those services are available across all the regions. For example,
Okay.
IAM is one of the service, Identity and Access Management. If you click on IAM, you'll see here it shows global, correct?
Okay.
Like for example, Route 53 this is a DNS service. If you click on that, you'll see in the right hand side global. So these services are available across all the regions. That's why it is called as global services. Whereas those services which are available in the specific region only, these are the
Okay.
regional services like EC2. EC2 machines are available in that particular region only, right? Let us say if I am provisioning any machine, XYZ test machine, this is I'm provisioning inside the Asia specific Mumbai region, right? So this will be
Okay.
available inside this region only. It will not be replicated to another region. Okay. And there are some services which are availability zone perspective, like availability based, like elastic block store. This is
Okay.
this is your database in your EC2 instance
Okay.
or hard drive, basically called as like Amazon EC2, elastic block store. Okay, these are availability zone services like VPC subnet. So what is subnet and all will cover inside the virtual private cloud AWS VPC, complete VPC structure and all. So these are the different
Okay.
type of the scope of services, global service, which we have seen, right? Route 53 IM and one is cloud front distributions, like your
Okay.
content distributions across the globe. This is
Okay.
Amazon cloud front distribution. Let us say if you have a website, okay, you have provisioned your website, you want that content available across the globe, right? You can use the Amazon cloud front service.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so how you access AWS services? Let us say if you want to, you can directly navigate to the console, correct? Likewise, I am console, like I'm able to, let us say I have created any EC2 instance, or if I am creating any database using some kind of an RDS service. Okay, those can be navigated through console, right? What is the another way?
What's another way to
I can access using
access
command line.
command line?
How you access the AWS? Like say, let us say if I want to access, let me launch EC2 instance, one EC2 instance, and I want to access from outside. Let's say it is something like test server. Okay, Amazon, like I'm taking this Amazon Linux image
Okay.
and I'm using free tier eligible. Hope you have free tier account. Have you
You say
created any free tier AWS free tier account?
yes, I have. I have created a free tier account.
Okay, so you must have provisioned these EC2 instances, right? Okay, so
Okay.
when you are provisioning the EC2 instances, you have to provide the image, right? That particular operating
Okay.
system
Okay.
and the type of instance. Different type of instances are there. This is free tier eligible. If you are using another instances, which is not a free tier, then it will incur the cost, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So for practical perspective, you should use those free tier eligible instances. Like I'm using T2 Macro.
Okay.
And this is the key pair basically in order to access this EC2 instance from your outside the cloud. Okay. You need to create a key pair basically like say I can create a new key pair here and like something I want to use PEM like command line I want to use. So this PEM extension key forward that is a key pair I will create. Okay. And I will give the name like something test key. Okay.
Okay.
Network in the sense this is a VPC, default VPC. What is default VPC and what are the subnets we will cover inside the VPC topic, virtual private cloud. So this will automatically take this default VPC while creating your EC2 machine. Auto assign public IP address. So this public IP address is required to access public in the sense globally you can access this, right? That is what public IP address is all about. So it will provision. I have enabled this public IP address. And in case if I want to access this machine from anywhere, that is anywhere in the sense, this is the CID range from anywhere. That's why it is 0000. I will require SSH, secure access, right, from outside. And I will, this is the default storage, okay, 8 GB for your compute instance. Advanced details are not required. I'm not going to join any directory on well. And I will provisioning. So we'll see the in-depth details about the what are the different options are there, like from the advanced perspective. Okay, like what is user data and all. But till the time I'm launching EC2 instance just to show how to access the EC2 instance from outside AWS. Okay, now it is in initializing stage, right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, if you click on this EC2 instance, okay, if you see here, it is in running state, right? And this is the public IP address 65, right?
Okay.
And in case if you want to connect, like let us say, I'm clicking connect. Here, SSH client, it will give some options here, how to connect the SSH. I mean, EC2 instance, you can command line. These are the commands basically. Like say, I can use this. This is the example and my EC2 instance name. This is the IP address, right? Like this is the detail of my EC2 instance. And I am going to use this key pair. I am going to SSH this instance using this key pair. So go to
Okay.
the command line. Let me first of all copy this one. Okay. You can use the git bash. You know what is git bash?
No.
Git bash is a command like using this. This is like a command, right? In Windows, we have CMD command prompt.
I have no clue about how these commands work.
Okay, one sec. I will show you. Hope you are able to see my screen, right? And
Yes, I can see your screen.
okay, where I am currently, I'm inside this, and my key pair is downloaded inside this download path testkey.pm, right? I have
Okay.
created this PEM extension. This is the key pair I created, and I want to
Okay.
connect the EC2 instance, which is inside downloads folder. Like I need to go to downloads, okay, and from here, this is the command, right, which we have copied earlier.
Okay.
So it will ask, are you sure you want to connect? Yeah. So I hope you are able to see this is connected to the Amazon Linux 2 machine. One sec,
Okay.
right? I'm able to connect it to the EC2 instance. Like this is how you can connect using the command line interface using this command. You can get it from the console itself, like I have shown you. This is the example, right? I just copied this, and by using git bash, you can install git bash. Like you can just type here download git bash, and you can. So which operating system you are using?
Who me? Microsoft,
Microsoft Windows, right?
Windows, yes.
Okay, so you can type here download git bash for Windows. Then you can download here. You can download for Windows. Once you download, you install it. This software git bash. Then
Okay.
once you download it, then you can just search here the git bash. This will automatically appear, and just click here, and, and make sure that you should be in that location wherein your PEM file is located. My PEM file is located inside downloads folder, right? So that's
Okay.
why I navigated. You go here, like I navigated to this downloads, right? If you go to, like if I see it, okay. Here you can see this is the file available, right? Testkey.pem.
Okay.
You can copy it anywhere, but
Okay.
while accessing the EC2 instance, you should be there inside, I mean, that particular location wherein your key resides, this testkey.pem or any key name which you are going to create while provisioning the EC2 instance. Hope you are clear. Like how can we access the
Accept
EC2
it.
instance, yeah, from
Yes,
outside using
yes,
CLI?
I'm clear. But what I would do is I would go, and when I review these notes, I would check this again because I do not have any um, key prompt experience. I will have to
Okay.
practice this on my own a couple of times. I
Yeah,
understand,
fine.
but it's something I have
Yeah,
to do.
and one more thing I will tell you, like we can use another different method also. You might heard about the PuTTY, PUTTY.
Yes, Putty. I've heard about Putty.
There is a one good software basically which is called as mobile extern. Like let me try to I will access that using that software mobile external. So what I will require. So whenever you are provisioning any EC2 instance, by default, the name of that user is EC2 instance. Like when you are provisioning any Linux instance on AWS cloud, by default, the name of that instance is not name the user account name. Let me copy this public IP address, and if I want to access, I can. How can I use this mobile extern? Let me show you. One sec. Where is mobile extern? Oh, okay, this is the software mobile extern. You can see, click on sessions, SSH. This is the IP address, remote host, right? That I copied,
Okay.
and username is EC2 user, which is the default username.
Okay.
And just click on advanced SSH settings and provide that private key. Private key is nothing but your PEM key, right? This test key
Okay.
which we created. And
Okay.
just click on OK here. Like if you see here, OK button. Then you'll get this prompt. Click on accept. Yes, I'm connected to the EC2 instance. Here you can see, right? Amazon Linux 2.
Okay.
Hope you are cloned, right? We have seen,
Yes.
right? How can we access using either software or by using
Putty.
command line?
Okay.
Yeah. What is the benefit of using this software is that you can copy any file from your local machine to this EC2 instance as well. Like here, these options are there: download and upload any file. Like say, if I want to upload any any file, like say, let us say I want to upload this file here. in my EC2 instance. So
Okay.
here you see, it is uploaded here immediately. Correct. That means from your local machine to the EC2 instances, cloud EC2 instance. These are the options are available using this software, mobile external. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, this is the management console, AWS CLI by using SDK also, like using different programming languages. Like in case any developer is working on their programming, they can also use their SDK, software development kits, to access those EC2 instances. But we are going to use those two methods only, right? Two or
Okay.
one more, like using AWS CLI, mobile external software, or management console. Hope you are clear on this, right?
Yes, I'm clear.
How to
I
access
have to watch
the.
the video again, but I understand what you're saying. But
Okay,
I have to practice it and do some more studies.
okay, great. But you understood like how to provision EC2 instance, like how to create, like go to AWS console and create EC2
Yes.
instance. Just click on connect and you will get these options.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is all about the, we discussed about the global infrastructure as cloud computing, right? Any
Okay.
doubt, any questions?
Not for now. I'm sure when I review your notes, I'll have plenty of questions.
Okay, fine. So from tomorrow onwards, which we are going to, we will work on EC2 instances. Different options are there, like uh, what is auto scaling, load balancing, different EC2 instances, types of EC2 instances, like say, let me show you, say, right?
Okay.
What are different instance types, like spot instances, reserve instances, then what is AMI volumes, those kind of things which we'll start from the practical perspective as a theoretical perspective. What is auto
Okay.
scaling group and all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say how to access AWS services, why don't you just access it like you're going to an email, you put in your username, you put in your password, you are in there? Why do you have to go through command lines, use the putting method? Why don't you just log in like you log into something?
Yeah, there is one more option also, like in case if you want to access AWS, like say there is a service IAM, Identity and Access Management, right? I will tell you. So here you can create any user account. Like let us say we'll create a user.
Okay.
Like say for example, I will create a test user.
Okay.
Okay. And I want to access AWS services using this user account.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want to access management console, but through CLI. So that's why I'm not ticking this option. This is optional. Next. And I have some existing permissions. Basically, you can also attach policies, or you can directly create that user account.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we will not create any tag. Create user. Okay. I have created this test user. Okay. So in this user account, you can see security credentials option is there, right?
Okay.
And in security credentials, you can create access keys. Here, access keys options, like from let us say if you want to access resources, AWS resources, you need to create you will require access key and secret key. So I'm going to create access key and I want to access the AWS resources, command line interface. I understand. Next. Tag is not required. So when we are creating any user account, this access key and secret key is visible in the first time once. So you need to copy this in a notepad or somewhere else. Let me copy and secret key. Okay. So now how can I access AWS? Click done, continue. Let us say from my command line, this is command prompt, right?
Okay.
From command line, I want to access AWS resources. So there is a command basically like AWS configure,
Okay.
but make sure that prior to use this AWS configure, this will not work initially. You will require
Okay.
AWS CLI to be installed on your Windows machine. Like I will show you. I'm
Okay.
just keeping. You will install AWS CLI. Like if I run this command AWS version, you see AWS CLI version 1.29 point. That is pre-installed. First of all, I have installed already.
Okay. You have it
That
installed already. Okay.
Yeah, so in case if you want to use this AWS configure command, if this
Okay.
CLI is not installed, you can download this CLI like AWS CLI. Just search download AWS CLI in Google. AWS CLI for Windows. Here is installing updating. Like it will navigate you to that. Okay, install for Windows, right? Here it will give download this MSI file. Yes, download this MSI file and install it. And then once you run this command, you will get this AWS CLI. Likewise, I'm getting right this one
Okay.
AWS. If I'm using AWS version,
Okay.
here you can see right AWS. Along with it, install that Python default
Okay.
version. Okay, along with CLI. So once your CLI is installed, okay, one second, little bit slow. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. I can hear you.
Okay, okay. I thought there was some interruption, I guess. Okay, so once it is installed, you can check this is properly installed or not, and then you can use this AWS configure. Okay, and we have downloaded right this secret access key. Sorry, access key and access secret key. I'm in AP South 1 region. Keep this default format as it's. Okay, now you are connected to the AWS, right?
Okay.
And if I use AWS S3 LS,
What does S3 and what does LS mean?
if I want to see S3 bucket,
Okay.
right? Now you
Okay.
will see, uh, look at this error message, what it is showing. An
Access
acre.
denied.
Why it is access denied? Because I don't have any permissions, right?
Okay.
And let us see if I am providing the permissions, how to provide the permissions to that user, like say, mm, users,
Okay.
test user. I need to add this user inside a group, right? Like
Okay.
test user, or else I need to provide permissions there. Permission boundary is not shared here. Here you can see permission policies. You see permissions. This user doesn't have any permissions. correct?
Okay.
This
Okay.
test user doesn't have any permissions. I will add permissions,
Okay.
like say I can copy permission from the existing admin user
Okay.
because that user is already have permissions. So I'm copying the permissions from, or else you can create new policy as well. Okay. So this user is having complete permissions to AWS account. So then I will, so these are the permissions basically, administrator access and those permissions.
Okay.
Basically, those are not required. Administration access or S3 access is sufficient.
Okay.
But for just for testing, I'm adding this administrator access, add permissions. Now,
Okay.
this user has been granted as administrator access, right? Yes,
Okay.
test user. And if you see, these are the permissions. Now, if I will try to access, now I can able to see the S3 bucket, right? You see,
Okay.
this is S3 bucket is inside. This is storage basically. S3 bucket in this it's a block storage, not block storage, object storage. This is the bucket, right?
Okay.
I can able to see this bucket. See this one. Why it was not accessible? Because this user doesn't have access previously to list the
Okay.
buckets. But we should not provide this kind of direct access like administration access. So what security says, we should provide the list amount like access. List in the sense we require only S3 bucket access, right? Why we are providing this access like complete administrator access in the sense it will provide access to all the services. We can delete or like this is not something a fine grained access control.
Okay.
Yeah. So always remember in AWS we never provide, but this is just for testing purpose I have added. But normally we provide the access which is required only. Okay. So likewise, this is how you can access using command line, like using AWS configure, like those kind of resources. What was your original questions?
Original question was, what other ways can you access? Well, if there was something like an email, you don't need to use command prompt. You just log in, put your username and your password. That was my question.
By using email.
No, 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 no. I said, can you just log into the AWS
O-
platform,
Okay, okay.
see your EC2 and the rest using
Mm,
your username and your password? That's what I
okay.
said.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, right. Like when you are provisioning the AWS account at that time, you need to create, right? That root account
Yes,
basically called as. Yeah, you need to set the password for that. Yes, for that account. That is AWS account you are talking about. Like say for in my case, I have this account, right?
yes.
And that is something, root account.
Okay,
Yeah, you will require, and yes, you will require the root account. And one second, where is that? I am. So since this is the root account, it will not show here.
okay,
It is not because this is the root account and that root account is nothing but your email address, right? Let me
okay,
log out like when you are log in, how you are logging to AWS. When you are using this sign in console, single sign on, right? AWS, then you will get this prompt. I am user signing. Even you can use the user accounts which I created earlier, right? This is a
okay,
test user account I created, right? I
okay,
can also use that account, but initially you have to use root account, right? Like see, sign using root user email.
okay,
So my root user email that I have created the account using this email address. and I have multi-factor authentication as well.
Okay.
Let me put the MFA code. Right. This is how you log into the AWS account. Also, you can log in using the user account which you created here, like using test user as well. Like from here, also you can reset the passwords, security credentials, right? Console sign in.
Okay.
Here there is no console sign password. Console in the sense I just logged in using my email account, right? That is called
Okay.
as console login. So for this user account, I haven't created any console login password. So I can create this console login password, and also I can use this user account to log into my AWS account.
Okay.
Yeah, that is also possible. You can assign multi-factor authentication. You know what is multi-factor authentication?
Yes.
Dual factor authentication, right? Along with your user ID and password, you can use like third-party softwares like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator to log into your AWS account
Okay.
for some enhanced.
Can you use your phone number as another authentication method or an email?
Uh, yeah, you can install, right, that a Google Authenticator on your Android phone.
Okay.
Like for example, you can install from the Play Store, right? Google
Okay.
Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. From there,
Okay.
you can create this dual authentication. Like let us say if I want to enable this multiple factor authentication, how can I enable like assign MFA device? MFA device is nothing but your mobile phone, right? Like or your authentication app, something you can give like some kind of test MFA device like something authentication app is which is your mobile device. Authentication using code generated by an app installed on your mobile device, right? So you need to
Okay.
scan, I think, this one. It will show us this code, right? So you need to scan this code. Automatically, your mobile device will detect this account and it will generate code. So you need to put this code twice here. Then this will be enabled MFA. So next time when you log into your AWS account, you need to put
Okay.
your password along with this MFA code on your mobile number.
Okay.
Yeah, this is how you can enable multi-factor authentication. Okay. Yeah, we'll go in depth because we have a separate topic for this identity and access management as well as EC2 instance. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to start this EC2 instance and in depth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just scratched the surface of AWS overview, global infrastructure like availability zone, what are all different services, as well as what is cloud computing and all about today.
Okay.
Yeah, let me see in case anything is pending. Okay. So, okay. So we covered virtualization as well, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty much from my end today. And we'll go in depth from tomorrow onwards from EC2 instances, later on the different topics from AWS perspective.
Okay.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
Well, as regard the class, no question for now. When will I get the recording of this class? I would like to review it before tomorrow's class.
I think it is already recorded. Recording already got started, right? I think Kiran, you already
Yes, it's
recorded.
recording, but when will it be sent to me?
Hello.
Yeah, Kiran, I
Hello?
think this session is recorded,
Yeah,
right?
you will get all the recordings of the sessions. So once the session done, I'll share the like I have shared the credentials with you. So once you log in with that, you will get the recording of the session.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you find
I said,
any issue, you can update in the group. You can share me a screenshot, then I'll help you if you find any issue to find the recordings.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Teddy, you just navigate today. You try to log into AWS different services, global infrastructure, how it looks like. Okay, those
Okay.
topics which we covered today.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions?
Um, I think Kiran told me yesterday that we'll have to do the certification before the end of the class, the course, right?
Okay, certification. Uh,
Yes. He said
in
we don't need to wait till the end of the completion of the training.
okay, which certification?
The specialist and the professional.
Okay, you want to
Let me
like
refer to the message.
okay. So you are planning to complete the certification or a
No, 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 no,
training
no.
training
And
you
if I understand what was asked there is, when do I want to do the certification? I was like, after the training.
okay, yes.
And they replied that we cannot wait for the training completion.
Yeah, so
That we
I Teddy for that, like in group, the Saurabh sir will discuss with you for that because trainer
okay,
is just only for the training purpose. So he will discuss for the certification. So
okay,
how they will proceed with you, right?
okay.
Yeah.
But Kiran, are you in the group chat, right?
Yeah, I'm in that group also.
Okay, but what's this person name? Sabab was saying that we have to do the certification before we complete the training, right?
Yes, yes. So, like for certification purpose, sir will discuss with you, and for the training purpose, if you find any issue to find any recordings or any other uh, issue, so I'll help you in that case.
You still don't understand the question. I'm talking of writing the certification exam. When are we writing the exam? Is
You
not
wa-
we don't let's
yeah,
talk about it on the group
you
chat.
want to give the exam, right? I mean,
No,
before
no, 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 no.
finishing this training session, that's what your question is, I guess.
No, I prefer to do the exam after the training session.
Okay,
But
yes,
but
yeah,
they
yeah.
said in the group that we can do the exam during the training session.
Oh,
That
okay.
we don't have to wait till the training session is complete. I just want to confirm if that is what we are going to do.
So, Kiran, you have any like discussion around this? Like,
Yeah. So, Teddy, like I'll
Okay,
update to the sir that you want to do the certification after the training. So accordingly, he will discuss with you.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So please, how can I access the trainings today? You say we're going to send me a link to access today's recording.
Sorry.
yeah, Kiran, you provide the link for this recording, today's recording session recording.
Um, I have provided
Ready?
you over the email the credentials, user ID, and password. So once you
Okay,
log in,
okay,
yeah. So
okay,
once you log in by using those credentials, so you will get all the recordings there.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So if you are not able to find the recordings once you log in, so you can share the screenshot in the group so that I would be able to know that you are facing an issue that at that point. So I'll help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. We'll see tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central Time.
Yep, sure. Yeah, let
Okay.
us connect tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks all.
Okay.
Bye.